Hello everyone! Today I'm going to be showing you how I clean out my mealworm farm, and I'm going to give some tips on how I raise them. I haven't cleaned it out in a while, so I figured now would be a good time to show y'all what I do. So I keep all the beetles in these drawers right here. A lot of them have died, and so I just pick them out so they don't smell. And I keep the mealworms in here. As you can see, I haven't really sifted and sorted recently. There's a bunch of beetles and pupas mixed in together. But that's what I'm going to be doing today. And I'll give like a step-by-step guide on how to raise mealworms and how I clean everything out. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my bowl ready and my sifter. And I just use like a paint sifter, like one of these. And it works really well to separate the mealworms from the bran and the frass. So I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. So first thing, I'm going to take a scoopful of the wheat bran. Like that. And then put it over here. And then just like shake it to get all the frass out. That's going to be the first step that I do. And you can see that down there is all the mealworm frass, which is really their excrement, which is really good for gardening, by the way. It makes great fertilizer. So this will be the first step. So now that I have all of the frass sifted from the wheat bran, you can see right there all the fine stuff, I'm going to hand pick all of these beetles out because they're not going to stay in the worm bin. But this is probably the most time-consuming part, but it is worth it in the long run because the beetles will eat the worms and the pupas and the eggs, so I want to keep them separated. So that'll be the next thing I do. And I'm just going to put them in a bowl right here. And I'm just going to keep repeating the process of taking scoops of this dirty bedding, sifting it, and picking out. Okay, now I've completely gone through this whole drawer and sifted it out. And I sorted each stage of life. These are the pupas. All of the beetles right here. And then I picked out all the dead beetles right here. And the chickens will really like to eat those, so those will go to them when I'm finished. And right here is where the beetles will go, the ones in that green scoop. And then I sifted all of these mealworms out. And they'll go back in the bin with some more wheat bran. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. And split these beetles up between these three drawers. And these are the ones that will breed. And they'll lay the eggs that produce the mealworms. Okay. So that'll be their new home. Then I'm going to go ahead and take this mealworm bowl and stick it back in here. All the frass has been sifted out. And I'm going to add some more bran to this. So there's that. Then I'm going to go get some more bran. So I just added some wheat bran to the mealworm drawer. There's other bedding that you can use for mealworms. Any kind of grain really will work. Some people use oats and some use cereal. I find that wheat bran is a lot easier for mealworms to digest because it's softer and it's really easy for them to burrow in. So for the thickness, I would probably do about 1 inch of substrate, which is enough for them to burrow in, and so I don't have to constantly be cleaning this out. And for their water source, as I'm going to show you later on in the video, I'm going to give them some apple slices. And mealworms prefer the dark, so they are going to be kept in a closet where the lights are off usually most of the time. But I do put these egg cartons in here so they can get under there if they want to. They've already put holes in it. So the mealworm drawer is done. And then we have our beetle drawers right here. They've already started to burrow. And then I have this stage here, the pupas, which they're just going to go right here in the top drawer. They don't eat or drink during this stage. They're just like a cocoon. So I'm just going to stick them in here in the top drawer. And as they hatch, I'll just take those out and add them to the beetle drawer. So that's basically everything that needs to be done for sifting. I usually do it maybe once every 2 months. And yeah, that's basically it. The next part is adding water. So for their water source, it's really simple. I cut up 1 apple to split between all of them. And the slices are pretty thin. And I'm going to take that over to the mealworms and the beetles. So for the small beetle drawers, because they're so tiny, I usually just put in 2 slices each, which is plenty of water for them. Just stick that in there. They go to it super fast. So I'm going to stick those in there real quick. For the mealworms, because there's so many of them, I'm just going to stick all of those in there. Here. Take out these egg cartons real quick. And mealworms, even though they're small, they do eat a lot. You'll probably want to replace the apples every 2 or 3 days, because they eat a lot. Like, I'll come in maybe 3 days later, if not even that, and it's nothing but apple skins. So yeah, you'll want to make sure they constantly have a water source. And if I do have any extras here, I'll just give them to the chickens. But I usually don't. I'll just put them a little closer. I probably have about 1,000 to 1,200 worms in here. So they need all the water they can get. Just find places to put them. So that'll be good for them for about 2 or 3 days. Let's see if the beetles have already come to them. Yep, they're already drinking. They're thirsty little guys. So that's basically it when it comes to sifting out and taking care of mealworms, is to just make sure all their stages of growth are separated, because bugs are cannibals and they will eat each other. And just to provide them with wheat bran or the cereal or grain of your choice, and to make sure they constantly have a water source. So I hope you really enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.